Hi, I'm JB Toorish with Guages, and today I'm going to train you on assembling the QUIK-jet AIR, 2 methods of injection for palms, and each step will be clearly presented for you to follow and learn. Okay, now we're going to talk about assembling the QUIK-jet AIR, and I'm going to go through the parts here. This here is the chemical bottle, so your chemistries would go into this bottle right here. This is the actual pressurized air tank. It holds compressed air, fills up to 3,000 pounds. Here we have the actual QUIK-jet AIR gun, and we'll talk about that a little bit. This is the regulator that will connect from the air supply bottle to the QUIK-jet gun. This right here is actually the holster for the QUIK-jet gun, and what we've done is just cut off a top of a bottle, and the QUIK-jet rests in here when not in use, and it's a way to catch any chemistry so it doesn't get into your bag. This is the chemical supply line right here, and I'm going to show you how this all connects together. I'm going to show you the features of the QUIK-jet AIR gun. The first thing to adjust your doses, as you'll see here, this can be adjusted from 1 milliliter up to 5 milliliters. The way we do that is we back this nut off of here, and then we can adjust this by screwing in to lower the dose, screwing it out to increase the dose. You can see here on the glass barrel, this is milliliters from 1 to 5. So whatever your treatment dose is going to be, you can adjust it, and then we lock it in by tightening this down and securing it. The fluid from the bottle, and I'll show you in a minute how we set this up, the fluid line will connect into this valve here. This is a one-way valve. If you notice too that the arrows are pointing in the direction of the fluid flow. The air line from our compressed air tank will connect over this fitting right here. Okay, now we're going to assemble the QUIK-jet AIR. Our first step is we're going to take the air tank here, and we're going to attach the regulator to it. And it's a normal thread pattern, so I'm going to go to the right to screw it in. Okay, this, be sure you don't over tighten this right here, it just needs to be snug. Okay, we'll put this bottle right here. Next, I'm going to take, this is the line to your chemical bottle here. I'll insert this into here, and if you notice this fitting right here, this is what we call a push to connect. So I push it in, and you can kind of feel it lock in there. See that? It's in. To remove it, I'm going to take this tab, press it in, and remove the line. So be sure it's seated all the way in there. We'll put that right there. Next, we're going to take our line, and it goes through this curly portion here, like so. So we've got this right here, your chemical supply line, your air line. Now we're going to take the gun, okay, and you can do it in either it doesn't matter which one comes first, but I'm going to attach the air line here, and you can feel it lock in, okay, and now the supply line. Same type of fitting as right here. These are all push to connect. Again, make sure it's snug. And again, make sure that your valve here, that the arrow is pointing towards the gun. Next, we're going to take our Viper needle and insert it, same Same push to connect as here, here, and here. And that's it. Your gun is assembled. To play how they work and how we adjust them. Okay, if you look at the tank here first, this bottom gauge here, this tells us how much pressure is in the bottle. It fills up to 3,000 pounds, so when that gauge there is at 12 o'clock or straight up, that's a full tank. The gauge here that's attached to the regulator tells us how much pressure is going to the gun. The tank pushes the plunger in the gun, and the gun pulls the fluid from this bottle. Now I'm going to show you how we adjust the pressure to the gun. And also for palms, we go a lower pressure than we do in trees, hardwoods. In palms, we're going to go around 40 to 50 psi. And in trees, we're probably going to be upwards of 80 to 100 psi. So the way we adjust it, you can see here that right now we're adjusted at a little over 90 psi. If I want to do palms, I want to bring that pressure down. So we go counterclockwise to reduce the pressure and clockwise to increase it. So what I generally do is I'm going to go to decrease it. I'm going to go a quarter turn and see where we end up. Okay. And if you notice, the gauge didn't move because the pressure is already built up in the gun. So I'm going to take the gun, push the trigger, and see where we went to. And usually a quarter turn will do it. And you can see there we're right about where we want to be. I can reduce a little less. We're a little over 50, so let me see if I can get it down to 40. And right there we're at 50. So that's a good pressure between 40 and 50 for palms. Now a little bit about the tank, where to get it filled. First of all, compressed air goes into the tank, and only compressed air. You can either go to a dive shop, a scuba dive shop, or a paintball shop. We also have an adapter that can adapt to a scuba tank, so you can actually use the scuba tank as the nurse tank to fill your bottle. Now we're going to prepare the QUIK-jet AIR for use. And the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that the air is working and moving our piston. So I'm going to test this out. And again, we are at right about where we need to be at 50 psi. And I see that everything's functioning perfectly here. So now what I want to do is I want to adjust my dosage. I'm going to be using a product here that's going to be going into the palm at 5 milliliter increments. So I want to make sure my gun is set to 5. So again, I'm going to turn this back, and you can see that piston moving back to 5. Okay, the next step is to prime the system with the chemistries that we're going to use. This product right here is a ready-to-use product. It does not need to be diluted with water. So I can actually put this line directly into this bottle, and I'll show you here. But for other products that maybe do need to be mixed with water, you can put your chemistry right into the chemical bottle. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put this bottle on the back side of the bag. I'm going to take my product that I'm going to be using today, push that right into there. Okay. Then I take the cap from the chemistry I'm using here and I place it on my chemical bottle over there. That way I don't lose that cap. If you notice, I'm going to stick this line directly into that bottle. Okay. I'm going to take the QUIK-jet AIR that's already been calibrated, and I'm going to prime the line. So I'm going to push this switch forward, and you'll see the piston move there, and now it should start to draw chemical up. And we can see the chemical coming up through the line. And the chemical entered the glass barrel. Okay, now we're primed. Place that back into the holster. Now I want to secure this cap onto this bottle. So I'm going to take it like so. And turn it until it's secured. Okay, now the QUIK-jet AIR is primed and ready to use. All right, next we're going to look at the palm and decide where we want to place the plug, where we're going to inject. So looking at this palm here, what I generally look for is an area that I want to inject in. And if you notice, many palms flare out near the base. We want to go above that flare because there's a lot of hardened off material in these areas. So we want to avoid that. So we're going to stick more up into this area here. And looking around the palm, we can see over here we've got some damage, so we want to avoid that area there. And then what I look for is I just feel to make sure we don't have any soft spots of where I want to inject. So I'm going to probably inject right in this area here. Seems good, nice and firm. So we'll pick this area right here to inject into. Also, we also want to look at the aesthetics. So if you're, injecting trees that are in areas where you don't want to see the plugs or there's a lot of traffic, pedestrian traffic, we may want to put the plug in a spot where you're not going to see it. You may want to hide it on the back side of the palm. So that may also come into your decision of where you're going to inject into that palm. When we're measuring palms for dosage of product, we don't measure diameter like we would in a tree. In a tree, we're actually going to measure the diameter of it and figure out how many plugs and how much product we're going to use. In a palm, there's going to be two criteria. It's going to be trunk height and canopy spread. And many of our products are dosed that way, where we have diameter inches for trees, trunk height, and canopy spread for dosages in palms. Okay, now we're going to talk about two different methodologies in injecting palms. The most common one is the Viper needle, which is the black needle right here, and the use of an arbor plug. And you can see right here, this is the arbor plug. It's a two-piece plug that anchors into the palm's vascular tissue. If you look on the inside, there's a rubber septum. So when we take our Viper needle and we push it into the palm through the plug, it pierces that rubber septum. The product is delivered into the palm's vascular tissue. We pull it out and it's sealed in the palm. You can see these barbs on the side. That actually seals off the injection point airtight. Also, with the arbor plug, many times you can reuse it for future applications. Okay, now we're going to do a drill plug inject into this royal palm. And again, this palm here is only going to need one injection site, but again, if it's a palm where you're going to be doing multiple injection sites, take that dose, divide it by the number of sites so you get the full dose into the tree. Again, we're using the drill bit with the fast spiral, and these bits do come included in all the kits. You get one 3/8 inch for your 4-inch for your number 4 plugs, and a 9/32 if you're going to use the smaller number 3 plug. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to find a good spot. Again, I'm going to go above where that trunk flares, and right in here looks like a nice spot. Again, I don't see any damage or anything like that on this. I'm going to drill into this palm, and I'm going to go and sink that bit all the way in. And if you notice, I kind of rounded that injection point just a bit. On royal palms, because the epidermis of royal palms is very hard, to get that plug to countersink, I have to round it just a little bit. So it's just a little twist of the drill, that's all it is. If you notice too, when I drilled in, and we always do this, whether it's tree or palm, we always drill in at a 90-degree angle. We want the plug to go in there evenly and straight. So again, we've got our arbor plug with the one-way septum that acts as a one-way valve. Get my setting tool here. I'll place the plug in with my fingers like that. We're going to place that setting tool again over the plug, and I'm going to be flush and firm on it. Tap that plug in, and again, I'm just about flush with the tip of that plug there. Also, when selecting a hammer, avoid using rubber mallets, wooden mallets. What you want is a nice heavy hammer to make your job easier. What I recommend is a 16-ounce carpenter's hammer, and that'll do the job for you. The problem with plastic mallets, wooden mallets, and especially rubber mallets is that every time you hit that plug setter, it's going to bounce back on you. This is getting all the force and momentum through the plug setter into that plug, so it'll make your job easier. Okay, now we've got our plug set, so what we're going to do is inject this palm with the correct dose. We did our math work. We measured the trunk height and the canopy spread, the diameter of the canopy, and we looked on the chart, and it's going to be 20 milliliters of palm jet will go into this palm. So I'm going to take my Viper, and again I'm pushing it through that rubber septum. Now the needle is firmly, it'll actually fit right into that tip there. It's firmly into the plug. I'm going to draw back, and there's 5, 10, 15, and 20. And I wait about 5 seconds, let that pressure release a little bit, and then I'll pull this out, and it looks good. Now, if for some reason we were to get some leakage around the plug, which at times may happen, what we recommend is to tap that plug in just a little bit, maybe about 1/16 of an inch. What you'll be doing then is you'll be creating a new seal so it won't leak anymore. If you leave it where it's leaking, there's a chance as that palm fills up with water that you may get more leakage out of there. So what we're doing in that case is just creating a new seal. Next, we're going to inject this traveler palm using the stinger needle method. This palm should only need 1 injection point, but at times palms may need additional injection points, especially palms that have large trunk diameter. If you do use more than 1 injection site, take the dose and divide it by the number of plugs so we get the full dose into the palm. I also want to talk about the drill bits. If you look here, this is a 3/8 inch drill bit here, and if you notice on this drill bit too, we went with something called a fast spiral. So there's actually more cutting edge in this drill bit than in normal drill bits. Okay, I wanted to show you the drill bits too. First I want to talk about, this is a 3/8 inch drill bit. This is what's used for our number 4 plug. And if you notice, we went with something called a fast spiral, and the reason we did that is it gives that drill bit more cutting edge, so it spins less and cuts more, so you get a cleaner cut into that vascular tissue. It also has a brad tip on it and these wings that help to pull that drill bit into the tree or palm. It also has a hex shank on it, so when we put this in the drill, it won't spin on you. It's very important to use high quality drill bits, and we have the highest quality drill bits out there. Now I want to show you what comes with the palm kit when using the stinger needle, because it's got that tapered tip. We're using a 3/16 inch drill bit that is 8 inches long. And I'm going to show you how we're going to use both of these drill bits to inject with the stinger needle. And what we're going to do with this drill bit right here, the 3/8, is we're going to make a pilot hole so we can fit our number 4 plug in there when we're completed with the process. Okay, now we're going to drill into the tree. And first what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill just partially into this palm so we'll have our pilot hole and we can get our number 4 plug in after we use the stinger. So I'm just going to drill in about 1 inch or so into there and pull it out, and that's our pilot hole. Okay, next I want to disinfect the drill bit so we're not passing on any diseases or pathogens from plant to plant. So first thing I do is I take a wire brush and I clean out any remaining shavings in there. Then I'm going to take my spray bottle of alcohol, okay, and I'll spin that drill bit. And I'll just spray it down with alcohol. And that's it, that's disinfected. I'm then going to place this. We don't want to lay our drill bits in the dirt either, so I'm going to place that in my bag and pull out my 3/16 inch drill bit that we'll use for the next step for the Viper needle. Lock that in. And then I'm going to go back to where I put that pilot hole in, and I'm going to drill about 1/3 of the way into that palm. And then I will disinfect this drill bit as well. Okay, now I'm going to take my stinger needle. It's been all primed, and you can see that tapered tip. And I've got my pilot hole, but inside the pilot hole is where I made that 3/16 inch injection. So I snugged it in there. It's nice and tight in there. Now I'm going to take my QUIK-jet AIR. And we looked at the label. This palm right here is going to require 10 milliliters of palm jet. So that's what we're going to put into here. So we're going to go back. 1 injection. 2 injections. We got the full 10 milliliters in there. And now what I also do is I wait maybe 10-15 seconds, because what I want is that back pressure to back off a little bit so I don't pull this needle out and have material come out. Okay, next we're going to remove the stinger needle. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shut this valve off just so we don't get anything leaking out of this line. And I'm going to just very carefully twist it back and forth, and it should pull right out. Then I'm going to take my plug, number 4 plug. We already have the pilot hole there. Okay, so I set the plug so it's just slightly deeper than flush to the trunk. And I want to show you the plug setter, and something that's very important with the plug is we want to make sure that when we're tapping the plug in, whether it's a palm or a tree, that we have the plug setter flush and firm on that plug. We don't want it at any angles. So flush and firm, and then tap the plug into the tree or palm. Okay, now the job is completed. We're going to purge the product back into the bottle. We're going to clean our equipment. So it's the end of the day. We're all done. So first thing we want to do is remove the line from the fluid in the liter bottle there. And what I'm going to do is purge the line, because this is ready to use, back in to the bottle so we don't waste anything. Okay. And then I have my cap that I put over here so I don't lose it on my medicament bottle. What I'm going to do, put that on snug. I'm going to lay that right there. And I take my funnel, put it on the medicament bottle, make sure it's clean. And then we've got our clean jet. This is what we're going to clean the equipment with. It's got materials in there to clean out your chemistries, and it also has lubricant to keep the O-rings nice and fresh in your equipment. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pour about maybe 30 milliliters in here. It's probably about that much right there. That's all you need. Okay, so we'll remove our funnel. We're going to place our line into the medicament bottle. Okay, and again, when you're screwing this bottle on, don't over tighten it. These are just, it's just very easy to strip these threads there. So we just want it, again, just snug, just like that. That's all you need. Then I've got a rinseate bottle here that I'm going to transfer the clean jet from the medicament bottle into the rinseate bottle. and the lines are just about cleaned out. Now you can actually leave that QUIK-jet in your lines until the next time you use your equipment. And we'll dispose of the rinsate in an approved manner, and you're done. I hope you enjoyed this video on palm injection. If you have any questions, please visit us at arborjet.com or call us corporate office. Thank you.